And welcome to the Live Fire Media Show. Your hosts tonight are the always entertaining Hunter Elliott of RangeHot.com, coming in from North Carolina, and I'm Dave Kowalka, aka Dave from High Point, coming at you from Southwest Ohio. Join us as we're going to talk about some guns, some gear, some games, and more.
Why don't I
So
get a
yeah,
AKA?
because you're Hunter Elliott from RangeHot.com.
Right, but I mean, I could be something else cool too.
Okay, well, let's see. How do nicknames work, man? Do you create nicknames and people do it for you?
I don't think you can create a nickname.
Exactly. So my Dave from High Point, that was not my doing. That was the guys at WLS. We like shooting.
Uh,
Always refer to me as Dave from High Point. So, yeah, there you go.
my friends used to call me Cornbread.
Okay. I really should do with
However,
that one.
awesome. I don't want that to be AKA Cornbread.
AKA Cornbread. All right. That sounds like a pretty good
No.
right there for me. AKA Corn.
That's an example of what I don't want to happen.
Yeah. Well, remember how we just talked about nicknames? Like, you don't have control over that shit. It's just what sticks.
That's true. And speaking of which, do you remember the last time we were talking? Do you see what I changed your name to?
It should be Iron Man. Yes. Because actually, I have all the data information set for episode 8. Because this is 9, and I have it titled "I Am Iron Man."
And your ringtone is Iron Man.
I am Iron Man from Black Sabbath. That's awesome. Because I got your feels that good.
Celebrate
awesome.
your lack of humanity.
That's awesome. Well, that's fine with me, man. So, I'm using my headset mic here again because come to find out, my good mic
how much
died.
Put in your mouth?
I'm not going there, but yeah, this mic though, we like shooting guys told me about these mics. They were like $100, $150. It was reasonable, but yeah, it took a shit on me. And going online talking to other people about it, they're like, "Yep, I had one for a couple of years and it just quit working." So I reached out to the company, asked them what's up. Now I'm waiting to hear back today. That's when I just sent the email. So hopefully it's, I don't know. They might be like, "Yeah, sure," or "Sorry, it's a piece of shit."
Well,
but now this headset though, I've been using this thing for for years.
How much
getting it with my friends. This whole thing was like $100, $150.
I don't think you heard what I said.
No, I didn't then.
I said, how much of that can you get in your
mouth? Oh my God. Why are you so gay sometimes?
I can get my whole fist in my mouth. Do you believe that?
That's good for you, man. That's a pretty awesome feat.
However, what's more awesome is figuring it out.
Yeah, that is more awesome, figuring it out.
Actually, that's all conjecture. It's never.
Yeah, no shit. Move my window over here a little bit so it looks like I'm actually looking at you in the camera, but I'm not really. But
oh yeah, thanks.
Well, it's what I am. No, so I am looking at you, but my camera's right here, so it's like, I don't want my head turned like this the whole damn time because that's annoying.
Riveting.
Yeah, it is riveting, is it not? I mean, come on, man.
So let me tell you how stupid I am. Let's go ahead and start this off.
Oh, this is already getting good. Damn.
This is how stupid I am. So, I bought that 89 F350.
Yep.
And I've been, and it's a good truck. Had some problems. We've probably got about 2/3 of everything sorted out. So I bought it to pull my stump grinder with. So the other day I drove it pretty good little ways, and I was leaving the job, and it was a puddle below the transfer case, about yay big.
Okay.
And I'm like, man, I know that transfer case ain't leaking. So I stick my finger in it, and I smell it, and it's gear oil. But the transfer case and the transmission on my truck, even though it's manual, runs Mercon ATF, spec from Ford.
Okay.
So I'm like, why is there gear oil below my transfer case? I know it's got ATF in it. But I was on the job. I was tired. I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna worry about it right now. So I drive home, and then I just kind of forget about it. So I'm grinding stumps today, and I'm loading my stump grinder up on the trailer, and man, there's a puddle of fluid like yay big under my transfer case. And I'm like, okay, now I'm thinking, all right, I got to, this can't be good.
Yeah, right.
And I get under there and I smell it. It's um gear oil. It's gear oil's got that real kind of pungent, and it's gear
Right.
oil. I'm like, where in there's no gear oil. I mean, I got gear on the front and the rear end, which is 8 or 6 feet away from this massive puddle. I'm like, is it now? Is the pinion leaking, and maybe it's slinging it up on the bed and running down and dripping? And I look up, the bottom of my truck is coated in gear oil.
Oh shit.
All shit is right. So fortunately, man, I was probably 2 miles from home,
Right.
and I'm like, well, I'm not even gonna take I'm not even gonna check the fluid in my transfer case because I know it's ATF. Okay, but there's a lot of gear oil leaking maybe out of my rear end. Now we just changed the gear oil.
I bet it's leaking
Knew
out of your
it
rear
was
end.
a little overfull, so I'm like, okay, even if it's leaked this much, I'm still probably okay to get home.
Right.
But at this point, Dave, I'm beginning to panic a little bit.
And
So
again, you're only 2 miles out. Oh shit.
just a couple miles. So I'm like, I know I can make it home, but I mean, this is a lot of gear oil. I mean, like the whole underside of my truck that I'm looking at, it's covered. It's dripping down,
Jesus.
and I'm like, and so I'm like, well, the pinion is leaking bad, and it's slinging gear oil all up under my truck. But there was no oil under the rear end. I don't know, but now my mind's on let's get home and let's figure this fucking mess out because we're talking about this could be thousands of dollars. So
This is a Ford, right?
be careful.
It's a Ford, right? It's a
Yes,
question.
yeah, it's a
Okay, so
89 F350.
89. Okay, so fixture repair daily still holds true. Okay.
Keep it up, man. So anyhow, so I drive straight home. As soon as I get home, I put a clean piece of cardboard under my truck,
Right.
and I wait a minute or two as I'm unloading my stomach grinder, and sure enough, that ATF starts, or excuse me, gear oil starts showing up under my transfer case. So I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be awful. So I go inside, I get a bright light, and I lay under my truck, Dave, and I shine it up under my truck, and it's just gear oil just raining down.
What the hell?
And I'm like, what the hell could this be? And so I'm racking my brain for like 5 minutes. I'm Googling it, and I'm just like, Google's not, there's like, well, your transfer case uses ATF. Yeah, no shit. And I changed the fluid in my transmission and my transfer case right when I got the truck. So I know it's ATF. But I'm like, I've got a major leak and it's bad. And it's all over my fuel tank.
Right.
So I get up and I'm kind of in a flying panic because I'm like, oh my God, it's more truck, and this is thousands of dollars maybe.
Yeah.
I open the door, and I'm looking around. I lean my seat forward, and when I change the rear end oil in my truck, I put a half full bottle of gear oil behind the seat, and I forgot about it, and it turned over and spilled out. and it was leaking. Like, the Ford cabs, they've got holes in them where they were, machined, and they put rubber plugs in them.
Right.
Well, some of my rubber plugs, being an 89, are kind of, well, they used to be very hard. Now they're nice and plush and soft.
I was waiting for thinking how you'd left a can of oil somewhere, some damn how, and you're getting it under there, and not exactly, but not what I expected, but still similar enough.
What
Jesus.
What an idiot, man. Now, granted, when I found it, I was like, oh my God, I'm so thankful. But, all the ride home, and like, the truck is noisy. It's
you're panicking all left and right.
So it's noisy. The first and second gears are the first gear is straight cut. I think second gear is straight cut, and they're not synchronized. And so, like, it's a noisy ass truck.
Right.
But to drive home, every noise that I've been hearing since I bought the thing, I'm like, is that the rear end? Is that the pinion? That's the pinion bearing getting ready to come out. Oh my God, my girlfriend's out of town, my mama's out of town, my buddy's on this damn thing slings the damn drive shaft. What am I gonna do?
Leave it on the side of the road.
Right? But I got my stump grinder. I got my stump grinder behind it.
Oh shit!
I got a $30,000 stump grinder on the trailer.
They don't leave that behind with it. Good God.
Yeah, I can't leave that behind. And so, anyway, that's how stupid your buddy is. Just
nice. And when was this?
Today.
Oh, just today.
About 5 hours ago.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
Yeah. What an idiot.
Hump day, man. That's some hump day shit for sure.
And I've got another story about it that's even weirder if and when you want to hear it.
All right.
Is that
so,
all right?
If you want to go for it, go for it.
All right, so I'll make this quick.
But we're talking about a Ford, so.
And here, this isn't all me being stupid, okay?
Okay, sure.
So I'm driving the truck, and this is after I first get it, and it's pushing coolant out of the overflow. And I'm like, man, that's not normal. So I do a coolant drain, flush, and I fill it back up to the exact amount of coolant.
Right.
And I replace the thermostat, and I replace the radiator cap. And I drive it. Thermostat opens up. When I get home, there's coolant all down the side. And I'm like, I know what it is. It's a head gasket. I got a head gasket blown, and it's that 7.3 IDI is 21.5 to 1 compression. So it's creating a tremendous amount of pressure on the compression stroke, and it's pushing exhaust gas in the radiator, which is overpressurizing it, which is then causing it to overpush coolant into the overflow.
Right.
And that's what it was doing. And I'm like, man, I hope to God, because if you have a blown head gasket, it blew for a reason. More than likely, the head warped. So, I called my buddy to come over, and essentially what you do is, I don't know if you've seen this tool. It looks like a bicycle pump with a gauge on it, but you take your radiator cap off and you put it on the radiator, and then you pump up the radiator with whatever pounds pressure. Then you watch the gauge.
Right. And
if the gauge doesn't move, you're golden. So the buddy comes over, Jaime, and we put like 12 pounds of pressure on the cooling system. The radiator cap opens up at 7 pounds. So we put 12 pounds on it, and sure enough, Dave, after probably 2 minutes, you can see the pressure dropping.
Oh, shit.
But it could be a coolant leak. Like, so we go up. Jaime's under the truck, and I'm over top of it. We both got bright lights, and I'm trying to find coolant pushing out of something. Please let, and he's
because you think you'd see it somewhere. I mean.
You would hope. Well, here's the deal. If you don't, it means it's pushing it inside.
Oh, right.
Blown head. So he's under the truck, and I'm on top of the truck, man, and we look until it gets to about 6 PSI. Pump it up again. Keep looking. It's like, Bo, I'm not finding the coolant under here. And I'm looking all on top of the engine, which, and it's dry. And he said, it's pushing coolant in the cylinder. Blowing head gas. And I'm like, this is probably $3,000. And that's he and I do. But I mean, at that point, you got to take the heads in. You got to get them machined.
Right.
Go do a valve job. You might as well do all that. If you're gonna do that, might as well put a water pump on it. So anyway, and I mean, and I say to myself, I'm like, okay, God, I hear you. This is awful, but I'm not gonna get mad. I'm not gonna freak out. The good Lord is always looking out for me. He's always blessing me. So whatever happens, it's meant to happen. Maybe he's keeping this truck off the road so I don't get in a. I'm trying to rationalize, and I'm trying not to lose my temper, and I'm trying to, be a good Christian. But I'm still frustrated. And Jaime's like, hey, pump it up to 25 pounds. That much pressure, it's going to push coolant somewhere. We're going to find it.
Right.
Now, the whole time, even when I'm driving it, I'm checking my dipstick. I'm not getting any coolant in the oil. It's not blowing white smoke, but
Right.
it's pushing coolant. So I pump it up to 25 pounds, Dave, and we're looking, man, and I hear it, and I'm like, okay, man, it's not a blown head gasket.
Right.
It's
Woohoo!
something serious because I can hear it hissing.
It's a connection point seal or something.
No, man, it was a fucking tool where the hose connects to the radiator cap on his pump was leaking air. And I'm like, you fucking bastard. You had me talked into coming over in the morning and starting to pull the heads off his truck. And your fucking brand new tool's leaking air. He goes, no way, man. No way. It's brand new. Nice. So I go to the house. I get some Dawn dishwashing soap. And
Yep.
mix it up.
Yep.
And I put soapy water around it.
Yep.
It's bubbling out of the
Watch the
hose.
bubbles. Oh my god.
And it was pushing coolant because whoever had attached the overflow hose had used a hose clamp. And the little worm gear was conquered. And when you put the radiator cap on, it was holding one side of the radiator cap up off.
Huh.
So as soon as the truck started making pressure, it was pushing coolant.
Oh my god.
And I was like, thank you, God. Thank you. I mean, I went to church last Sunday, bro. I'm telling you. But anyway.
Well, so I can tell you. So I'll roll this with a car bit. So this past weekend, I was down in Camden, Tennessee, at the Tactical Response Range.
Okay, yeah. James Yeager's place.
Yes, his place. Yeah, I met his daughter actually. But we were there for Student of the Gun. It was Paul Markle's was it Martial Application of the Pistol was the class we did, and work related thing. So I rented a car, and you know,
you used the High Point, right?
I'll get to that. It's
Okay.
car part right now. It's car stories. You shut up.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm getting excited.
No, so rented a car. Rather take my FJ down there, and ran just a standard SUV because like when I've traveled, and we're carrying a lot of like work shit, banners, a lot of guns and crap. I'll get like a full size SUV, which I kind of tend to find I prefer like the Jeep, like what the Jeep Wagoneer, like the Hemi. The Jeeps will just shit and get. I had a Ford Explorer. The last one going to GOS. That one was shit and get, and that was all right. Time before that, I had a Lincoln Navigator. Fucking hated that thing.
Really?
Oh god, man! All the annoyance. Like I drive with my hand. I'm a 1 o'clock, you know, like holder with my left hand, and that was blocking a camera where they couldn't see my face. So it was like setting off alarms, like look at the road, look at the road, look at the road. I mean, there's so many alarms and alert things in the Navigator. Dude, no way. You couldn't pay me to take a fucking Navigator. It was so annoying. And even its like infotainment system versus its manual hard controls, I hated it. I absolutely hated it. But like I said, then a year later, getting the Ford, I was like, this is way more streamlined. I like this thing. I'll drive this one, you know, much happily.
The Explorer.
Yeah, the Explorer over the Lincoln, but I still like the Jeep, the Wagoneer over both of those. So, anyways, not taking a lot of stuff this time. So I was like, I was going to standardize what?
Pause. Is it just you, or you got anybody else from MKS with you?
For this trip right now?
Yeah, what we're talking about.
Nobody else from MKS, but my buddy Ryan was with me.
Okay, I'm tracking.
Yeah, so a lot of times if we're going to GOS, we're usually taking, you know, additional supplies for the show. And it's just nice to have a big vehicle when you're driving 8 hours one way.
Absolutely.
So this time it's just me, just Ryan and I, our own personal kit and gear. And I rented a standardized SUV. And I hate rental companies, man. You've got, you know, intermediate SUV, standard SUV, full SUV, extra large SUV. It's like, dear God, like that and the fact that damn near every car that isn't a car anymore is an SUV, but really they're a fucking car.
Right.
They're slightly raised up. They have slightly more wheel clearance, but they're a fucking car. So what we ended up getting was a Chevy Equinox. I was like, okay. That's
a tiny little SUV.
Yeah, that's standard size.
Yeah, that's
like,
tiny little car.
That's what I thought when I saw it, and I was like, whatever. I get it. I'm like, okay, typical Chevy layout controls. It's fine. Infotainment system sucks for even Bluetoothing it. It's I'm better off using my phone for everything than the actual screen in the car because it's an economy piece of shit basically. But on top of that, it's a little four banger. I think it was supposed to be turbocharged or supercharged. I don't know, man. Countless times I got on the highway, I literally had that pedal absolutely floored, like immediately. I would say I redlined the damn thing, but it didn't actually have marks for a red line on it. But I couldn't get it to break much more than 5,000 RPMs. But dude, every time you did that, you thought that thing was going to blow a rod here. And I was like, this thing is such a piece of shit.
Yeah. Well,
Um, but yeah, so the whole drive down, the whole drive back, another buddy was with me that met us there. So we take my ride to the go get food and stuff. And how easily I would just like gun it. And of course, my one buddy who met me there, he's got a Rivian, electric truck,
oh
and
yeah.
talk about massive torque. And he's like, "Dude, are you flooring this thing?" I said, "Dude, I'm physically flooring it right now." And he goes, "Sounds like you're gonna blow the engine." I'm like, "I know, this thing's a piece of shit. I wouldn't tell anybody to buy a fucking Chevy Equinox unless they're like a little old man, little old lady that only had to go to the grocery 2 miles away."
Mm-hmm.
Just terrible, terrible ride, man. Ugh.
Well, now that we're on the car subject, I've got a funny anecdote from my father.
Okay.
So we were at a party somewhere, like a neighborhood party, and this was, oh god, late '80s, early '90s, and there was a guy there from work that my father just did not like, not even a little bit. But
Okay.
my dad was pretty cool. He didn't. He was really laid back, but he's like, I don't like this guy. I hate this guy. Gets on my fucking nerves. He's a moron. My father, when it come to anything automotive, body work, he had his own body shop. He was the general manager of a mechanical shop. I mean, he knew mechanical and body work. He was amazing and been doing it his whole life. He just had the knack. And he had no tolerance for people that were idiots but portrayed themselves. Like if you went in and you're like, hey, look, I don't know what's going on. Can you help me? A lot of times they would get new techs in that would be a little confused. My father could go out there and kind of get them caught up. As long
Right.
as they were humble.
Sure.
But they come in there showing their ass and fresh out of school or what have you. And this guy, from what I gather, was like that. So my dad had been drinking, and he's like, I'm going to fuck with this guy. Watch this. So he goes outside, and he pisses all in front of the guy's car, under the radiator. And he goes back in, and I don't remember the guy's name. Let's say
Right.
it was Bob or something. It
Sure.
was.
It's Bob.
And he goes, Bob, hey, I was outside, making a phone call, and I walked by your car. Is that your car? The whatever.
Right.
Yeah, in the drive. He's like, it's leaking coolant all over the driveway, like a lot.
Dick move. That's awesome.
And Bob's like, oh no, let's check it out. And my old man goes, yes, let's check it out. So the guy goes out there and he's looking. Sure enough, and it
Huge puddle.
By now it defoaming on and run down to the back of the car. And I'm not making this up. The guy takes his finger and drags it through the puddle and goes, it's not sweet like coolant. And he pulled his finger out of his mouth. And my father is like mortified. He's like, yeah, man, I don't know. He's like, bring it in the shop. We'll figure it out.
Oh, my God.
And he's like trying not to bust out laughing. And I'm like, Dad, that guy literally just drank your piss. He's like, right? He's like, fuck yeah.
God, my mind goes to Austin Powers. This coffee tastes like shit.
Yeah.
Austin, it is shit.
I was like, oh my God. Ooh. Right when he drug his finger through it. Oh. What idiot. I mean, because coolant is super poisonous. So, you know.
But, I mean, if you're going to touch it, like, smell it to make sure. But otherwise, if it's that big of a puddle, you don't need to touch it. You can just smell it from there. I mean.
No, he got his finger all in it and doing the old the Pepsi challenge with it.
Oh, my God. That's disgusting and awesome.
Oh. You were talking, you were talking about that. It reminded me. Um, I wish you could have met my
Wow.
father.
Wow. Yeah. That would have been cool.
I'll tell you another quick story. I think you'll find this funny. So my dad was a general manager at Leith Honda, and Leith Honda, the everybody knew my dad was into guns and explosives and all kind of crazy shit.
Right.
And so,
Was your dad a Marine?
yes, and
I
he,
saw so.
he was the
Okay.
section chief for a 155 howitzer. So he was
Okay.
into explosives his whole life.
Right.
And so my dad's office, like the whole mechanical shop of the Honda place was like elongated, like a shop, and like right here at the front was the dispatcher that overlooked the shop, and then to the left was a head, and just past the head was an office with a door. That was my father's office, and he was the GM there, or excuse me, the service manager. And a couple of the damn employees have been dragging ass and, dicking around, younger guys. And my dad is in there. I walk in there, and my father's got a golf ball, Dave, and he's taping it with black electrical tape. He's wrapping a golf ball in black electrical tape.
Okay.
And a lot of times, like, I would hang out with my dad at the Honda shop, and my dad's like, watch this. So he gets enough of it taped up to where it's a little bigger than a golf ball and there's no white showing. Then he had bought me a model rocket, that you stick the fuse in and light.
Yeah.
And so used to, when you did that, you would go buy like 20 foot of cannon fuse.
Okay.
That's what it was. It was green cannon fuse. You go buy 20 foot of cannon fuse, and it says, like X amount of feet is X amount of seconds. So you take your knife, you cut that, and you stick it in your rocket. He takes about, a 10-inch piece of cannon fuse out of my model rocket kit and sticks it on that golf ball and keeps taping it. Where when he's done, it's 20% bigger than a golf ball, and it's got a damn 10 inches of green fuse sticking off of it. And it's like 1:30. Like they've just shuffled in from lunch, and people are staring at their toolbox. They're dicking around. They're trying to get, motivated to go back to work. My old man walks out there. Now he's looking. It's 40 feet. That's probably, hell, I bet it was 10 bays.
Right.
Or six, or probably more than 40 feet. Hell, probably 60, 70 feet. Dave, he takes that thing and he's like, I am so tired of all these people just fucking around. Nobody wants to fucking work. You go to fucking lunch. Look, you're over there dicking around, staring at your fucking toolbox. He's like, you know what? I've had a good life. Fuck all y'all. And lights the fuse. And everybody, like, he has their attention. And he's holding it as the fuse. And he said, it ain't going to just be me this time. And he rears back to Kansas and he throws that thing down the middle of the shop. And let me tell you something, my friend. Never in my born days have I seen a bunch of men move that fast. Like you've seen a cartoon where Bugs Bunny's like holding something and takes off and it's still in the air. I saw just a bunch of empty wrenches fall to the ground where those guys run outside.
That's awesome.
It hit the ground, and rolled around and it burned out. It's funny.
Dude, could you...
But then everybody started filing back in, and my dad takes his knife and cuts the tape off of it and shows him as a golf ball. And everybody's laughing and joking, and my dad's just stone face. He goes, that's your fucking warning.
That's your warning. Dude, could you imagine if anybody, like that pulled out on a shop today? You'd literally have men crying and quitting and HR down your ass because that's just too insinuating violence or it's being too insensitive to blah, 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 blah,
This was probably 89 or 88 or 89, man.
Sure.
So, you could do shit back then and get away with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you did something like that today.
Oh, God. It'd be such bad news. I mean, it's hilarious, but...
He's sued to death.
Yeah. People,
Don't.
it's that's like we've talked before. It's because people nowadays, people are weak. They're
Yeah,
weak and pathetic. That's right. And if you're listening to this and you're weak and pathetic, don't be.
yeah. Join a gym, eat a fucking steak.
Yeah, right. You a
If
big fucking steak.
you got to bet an ugly woman to get a little better ugly woman. I mean,
Yeah, right.
but anyway, I enjoy reliving those because as I'm telling you, the story is playing out. And now
Oh yeah.
I'm 7, 8 years old, standing there watching this unfold, and I'm like, Dad, I can't believe you're doing this. He's like,
Like this is awesome.
there's no way they're going to quit because this shop was air conditioned.
Right.
So like in
Yeah, North
Raleigh,
Carolina. Yeah,
yeah,
it's hot summer days.
this was the Honda and Mercedes Benz BMW shops were the only shops I think in Raleigh that were air conditioned. So you come inside August 90 degrees outside, you walk in the shop and it's 72 degrees and you got
Right.
yeah, it was nice.
That's funny.
So anyway, oh man.
Well, yeah. So, yeah, I was like I said, I was in Camden, Tennessee then for the weekend doing that 2-day pistol class.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't have
And
cut you off. How was that?
why are you sorry? Shut the fuck up and just roll with it.
Wow.
I'm sorry. I'm so tired of people. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Stop being fucking sorry for shit, people. Jesus.
What, you cocksucker. Go ahead.
And we're just talking heads here, so shut up. We just make a hard cut to it. I was segueing into it from my car issues, then you circle back around, but the story was worth it because that's pretty damn funny shit.
I'll forgive you.
But no, as you had asked, did I take a high point
Mm-hmm.
to this 2-day pistol class? I did because Paul had actually asked me to bring a YC9 and run it in a class. I was like, yeah, all right, sure, why not? Well, we left, I don't know, 1 o'clock around Dayton to get down there. It was like 6.5 hour drive. Took us like 8 hours to get down there because it was just massive traffic accidents from north of Cincinnati, south of Cincinnati, all around Louisville, around Nashville. It was the most horrific traffic I think I've ever had driving that short a distance ever. It was just it was nuts.
I wonder what that's all about. Just people.
I think it was just Friday and people and accidents. It just shit happens. It's just the way we caught it. But so we get into the cabin place. I think my other buddy, he was coming from the DC area and he got in like an hour behind us, I think. So as we're waiting for him, I was looking at my holster situation. I was like, oh shit. I was like, I have on my gun belt, I've got the Safariland QLS fork system. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
No, I don't know nothing about that.
No? Okay. It's just a mounting system. So you take your holster, you put the like male end fork on it, and then I can easily change on my belt rig. I can change holsters out real easily and always have the same draw because I've got those forks. Okay. So Black Rhino Concealment had made me some holsters for a bunch of high points. And I specifically had them do me a large format holster for the like 10 mil 40, 45 guns with on a QLS fork. I didn't think to tell them to do me one for the YC9. So I had 2 holsters planned. The one I forgot here, which was like a pancake style wrapped belt slide holster. Totally forgot it. So that was out. The other holster I had like a Blade Tex like clamshell clip. Or no, it didn't. No. It was just a paddle. Had like a slide through your belt paddle. And I was like, well, there's no room in my equipment. I can't use that. So I was like, screw it. I'll take the QLS fork off the bigger holster, put it in a smaller holster. Good to go. So I take the paddle that's on there, take it off, take the QLS fork off, go to set it up. Well, like the 2 main holes don't line up. I was like, all right, well, let's just get smart this time and like make our own hole. Quick, self drill with a pocket knife. Made myself a good hole. Got the screws in. Set the QLS fork down in my holster, so it's on my belt. I'm like, oh, this is sweet. And while I'm grabbing the YC9, like the grip's like just thick enough to sense I couldn't always really hit the mag release with my thumb without a massive grip shift.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, well, I like ambi and I like right side for my index finger to hit the release anyways. Well, the YC9 it's reversible. Just punch it out, flip it around. I do that, and I'm like sitting there hitting mag release, and I'm like, oh, this is sweet. Mag release, sweet. Holster, Yeah, it's awesome. I'm like, cool, we'll be good to go. Other buddy gets in town. We found out where a Walmart's at. We were gonna get some quick supplies last minute, and then chill to the shoot on Saturday morning.
So you got there on a Friday, got a
Yeah,
room, took it easy.
yeah. Had like a little like mini cabin, cottage thing. Chill out for a little bit. Yeah, it was with me and two other buddies then. So my buddy Ryan, who's going to GOS with me, and my buddy Chad, who's as a lifelong friend, and he's into guns, but he doesn't shoot but once in a great while because timing doesn't permit. And I kind of like hit him up last minute. I'm like, dude, you want to do this pistol class? He was like, yeah, that'd be cool. I'm like, all right, meet me here. I've got a cabin. So go to the pistol class, and we go through the introductions, meet everybody else there. There's only like 7 of us total. Um, so not a huge class. So you really actually get to meet everybody and get to talk to everybody and get to kind of know everybody, which is even cooler. Um, but we get up on the firing line and we start with the what was it? Well, he had just a target. Had targets put up there. It has thoracic triangle from from the bridge of the nose, nipple, and back up. It's like put a couple rounds in the thoracic triangle. And I had a red dot mount on the YC9 too. I had a Swamp Fox. I don't know, one of their green dots mounted to it. So I'm coming up, punching out, pow, pow, pow. Like what the hell? Oh shit! Mag came out. Pow, pow, pow. Shit. Pow, pow, pow. What the hell? And I was like, oh shit. Because I flipped that mag release around, it's landing right in the middle of my
When you
middle
grab it,
finger.
you're depressing the magazine release.
Yeah. So I was like, and Paul's like, dude, can you fix that? I was like, yeah. Walk off to the side, got my multi tool out, punch it out, flip it around, get it going. Like, all right, cool. Pow, 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 pow. Mag change, rack. Pow, 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 pow. Thing's tearing a beautiful, just like ragged hole, like this thing, to the point where like I wouldn't even see my hits anymore because they were all going through that hole, just eating it up. I'm like, hell yeah, high points kicking ass. Well, then we get to the point where we start doing some little drills, and I come up, and I couldn't even pull the trigger. I'm like, what the shit? I'm like, if you can't pull the trigger on a high point, mag disconnect safety. So I quickly do a quick look in my workspace here, and I see the little gaps. I'm like, tap rack, pow, 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 pow. Like, that was weird. Whatever. And he's like, all right, do it again, so you get a flawless draw and hit. I was like, sure. Come up, tap rack, pow, 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 pow. Like, what the shit? And Paul's like, what is going on, man? And I was like, I don't know. Like, I'll strip the mag out, throw another one in, charge it, pow, 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 breaking them, stand up, do a 360 to scan my whole area, and then come back and screw it, punch out some more, fire bit. It was like, everything's fine. Holster up, go top my mags off, come back for another drill, come up and draw, trigger won't break, tap rack, pow, 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 pow. I was like, wait a minute, mag disconnect safety. Why is my magazine coming out now? Like,
Holster.
bring it back, put it in my holster. Because I jerry rigged that QLS fork for this holster, it wasn't made for it. When it sits in all the way, the mag release is hitting some of the framework and kicking my mag out.
Yeah.
I was just like, you've got to be kidding me. I'm like, this is unreal. And so Paul's like, man, the high point's running. He's like, but I don't want you getting training scars because we're going through all this repetition. He's like, do you have another gun? I was like, I do. I brought it back up. He's like, change it out. I was like, all right, I'll change it out. So I swapped that one back to brought my Echelon, my Springfield, and then not a single problem from there. So I was just like, damn it, man. That gun would have made it to the class just fine. I really wanted to run it the whole damn class. But having to constantly do tap rack every single time it came out of the holster, that shit just was not going to work.
Could you have took your pocket knife and cut a relief area where your magazine release is? Or
I probably could have, but as much time as I spent screwing around, I don't want to create more downtime as they're waiting on a whole class to like shave this shit off.
Was this class or day before class? Sighting.
No, this is class. This is the class.
Oh, a lot of classes, like the first 2 hours is sighting in and shaking out your gear.
Yeah, no. This one it was like we got into it right away, and
okay,
we're doing it. Yeah.
Then so that's what you swap out.
Yeah, so I mean, it's kind of like like my whole experience at Moon's Out with the carbine not being zeroed in. I made sure the dot was zeroed in. That part was fine, but then rigging this holster up, I was completely not even thinking about interfacing the with the mag release like that. So now I think I'm actually going to reach out to a Black Rhino and be like, "Hey man, can I get an actual YC9 holster on a QLS fork specifically, so I know it won't interfere?" And then I think I'm gonna try and like for High Point make like a video series of doing drills, like we talked about doing build drills in general on video,
Mm,
but try and do some High Point stuff like that. And I still have like 500 rounds from the ammo we shot. Basically, burn through the other 500 rounds with the YC9 and be like, "Yeah, here you go. I now have got 1,000. Well, I shouldn't say 1,000. I've got several hundred rounds for this gun at this point because the gun works. You know what I mean?
oh yeah.
It,
Well, I mean,
it
I
just
was
it just
that bubble.
sucked to have that kind of equipment failure that you couldn't do anything else really on the fly. Because yeah, had we had more downtime, maybe I could have, but it was just like eh, class is hanging up now because they're waiting for me to do shit.
Yeah, you
Just
hate
change
that.
guns. Yeah, I mean, and everybody was cool. Like they all were like, "Is the gun not working?" I was like, "No, no, 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 no! Don't any one of you who have already been bad mouthing High Point think the High Point's not running. It's my setup problem that I rigged this thing together. And it's not working because the holster I should have brought was my pancake style holster, and it has clearly cut away from the mag release.
Right.
That would have been fantastic, but shit
Yeah, you
happens.
didn't want some asshole seeing that and then going back and be like, man, that guy, his
That,
high point didn't run into class.
that's exactly right. So I made it abundantly clear to everybody there. I'm like, no, no, no. This is me. My issues have caused this, not the gun. The gun's doing its job.
Did they seem to accept that okay?
Yeah, everybody seemed pretty cool. They're like, yeah, look like because you're tearing it up with the target. I'm like, well, yeah, because these things work. You know. But then the rest of the class as a whole though was a pretty damn cool and entertaining time, I would say.
Good, man. Good. Classes are, I think we've talked about this before, but it's always good to take classes. I got a class Saturday with Green Ops
Nice.
at H205 Farms in Dunn, North Carolina. It's an 8-hour defensive pistol class. And it's kind of a basic class,
Right.
but I'm not too proud to take it.
Right. No. What's uh Rick Crawley from Achilles Heel Tactical. He talks about that. Says like you should probably take a basic pistol or rifle class like once a year because it's always good to come back to just the simplicity of fundamentals and do that stuff. No matter how tactical and how high speed low drag you are, go do basic class to remind yourself skill sets. And I kind of agree with that.
Fundamentals. And here's the thing: if you got a series of instructors you kind of cycle through, everybody teaches a little different.
Yes.
So one technique you may struggle with one instructor.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I've talked about this before. Roger Pettit,
Mm-hmm.
a friend of mine, combat injured Marine. I've worked with him. He had a company called PC Shooting,
Yeah.
and we taught defensive pistol and defensive shotgun. And I'm gonna tell you what, man, Pettit, he was very colorful, but he was a damn good shot. But more so, he was a fantastic instructor. And he had just these little, like if somebody was having struggling with something, he had all these little tools in his toolbox that
Right.
he could implement. And I'm like, damn, Pettit, that's a great idea. I've never thought, and it's so simple. You know, rest his soul. He was a fantastic shot. Good instructor, great instructor, good Marine, solid friend. He's the kind of guy, you call at 3 o'clock in the morning and he goes, whatever it is, I'm there for you.
Right. Well, this. I mean, this is Paul Markle, a student of the gun. Are you familiar with him? He's another Marine.
I've heard of it, but I don't know
Um,
him.
I've known him since I got in the industry because he's been friends with Charlie like for forever, and he took a liking to me as well. And so this is the first time I've taken a class with him, um, and his son. So who I always see them at shows, about like you. I see him at SHOT, see him at NRA, and like that's it. So to then now be at one of their classes was absolutely a blast just to be doing that. Um, and like I said, then I brought two buddies with me. My buddy Ryan, who he's a dedicated shooter, but this is only his second formal class, I think. First one was a rifle by Achilles that he and I both did in 2018, so a while ago. And then my buddy Chad, I brought from the DC area, He's never had any formal training other than basic rifle handling in the Navy 20 years ago. Um, so for him, he had a lot of fun with it. I think there was plenty of times he was a little overwhelmed. Um, he was trying to run a Sig P365, like the original small, really small pocket ones, and I think that was his first bit of issues. Was that was just too small of a gun. So probably halfway through the first day, he switched out to his old Springfield XD that he's had forever, and ran that so he can get full grip, full control on the gun.
Right.
And at that point, the instructors, they were all over him in the good way of like work on his draw stroke, work on his form, because he'd not really worked on much of any of that. Like he and I don't even get to shoot very often when we get together. It's usually, beers and dinner.
Sure.
So he had an absolute blast doing the class like that. So I'd kind of made mention to him. I was like, dude, if I do more classes, I'm like, do you want to go? Like, I'll keep you posted on other ones we do. And he was like, yeah, man, I want to do some more. This was pretty awesome. I'm like, sweet.
If y'all
That's
do
wicked
another
sweet.
class, let me know, man. I'd love to come here and shoot with y'all.
Well, that's the thing I was gonna tell you was I will hit you up because I think first thing I'm gonna try and do is get more guys that are definitely a little more local to here to me to do. I have two local instructors that I know that are pretty good guys and they're actually pretty affordable classes.
Okay.
But the big thing is I was talking with Jared and Paul of Stewing the Gun. They do a martial application of the shotgun. And I was like, dude, I want to do a shotgun class bad. I want to run my 1301 and shot. And they're like, dude, the shotgun class is so much fun.
Yeah.
I was like, how many guys do you need for a class? Like, what's your minimum? They're like, 6. I was like, so counting friend. I'm like, I can probably put together 6 people, including myself, for a class. And they're like, yeah, man, you let us know. We'll make this happen. So, yes, I will keep you posted as this develops. And
I'd love to. I've taken a couple shotgun classes, and I've actually taught some shotgun classes. Now I'm a pump shotgun guy, so just be advised.
what I've seen in their class, they don't give a shit.
Right.
You pump, auto, whatever, don't care. But
I
that's
like
cool
pump
because
shotgun.
yeah, I think that'd be cool too. Is you and I on a class together too, and I just this would be an absolute riot,
Could
an
have a damn
absolute
good time.
riot. Oh my god, for sure, dude.
I tell you
Especially getting
what
some
I
kind of
do.
cabin somewhere we can all crash together.
I tell you what I do. I bring a side by side 12 gauge up there with me, and then like have my pump shotgun in the bag, and he's like, "Get your guns out," and I'll just walk out there with my side by side,
Side by side.
fold it over, be like, "I'm ready for the class."
And you know what? If Paul knows you're a Marine, I'm sure he'll make some smart ass comment to you right away. And if he doesn't, he'll go, "You're gonna be loading a lot, pal." you know.
I don't need but 2 shells.
All right, yeah, okay, pal. So now from this class, like you said, different instructors teach different ways, but you still find a lot of commonality in them. Um, and for the most part, Paul's curriculum to me was very much a review from a lot of other classes I've taken, which isn't a bad thing. Um, he had some different spins on things and had us do some different engagements. Required communication I hadn't done before. That was really cool. Like we had, you know, 4 guys sitting at a table. So like there's a guy across from you, guy to your left, guy to your right. Targets are behind us. You hear a sign to fight, and you had to communicate where's everybody going to go. If targets like it literally started off, targets are behind me, so it's like, okay, where's everybody going to go? Well, we're all going to our right, to break away. But the point was to be communicating everything we're doing as we're engaging threats and going down from there. And it was like that's a different dynamic I have yet to do before. So that was actually a lot of fun. And we ran through it dry, multiple times before we ever got to the point where we're drawing our guns and actually engaging targets. Um, but beside all this, it was funny being at the tactical response range. I absolutely started thinking of James Yeager when at one point in time, Paul had us lying on our backs, drawing our guns and shooting in between our legs, basically hitting the crotch of a target, get up to a kneeling position or sit up position, shoot at the crotch. I think kneeling, then we were shooting at the chest, I think, and then standing, shooting the chest again. And I remembered Yeager had this video that basically said, get your medical kit off the small of your fucking back. And I'm sure he probably said that bluntly because he was like, if you have a med kit that's, yay thick, yay wide on the small of your back and you get knocked on your ass, you fall flat back on that med kit can absolutely fuck up your back.
Yeah.
And I remember him saying that thinking, yeah. Well, years later, I built my belt out. It's got shit all the way around it. So we go to lay down on our backs, and I'm laying down, and it's like I should be like this. My pelvis is up like this
Med kit.
because that med kit, and it's solely because of the med kit. And my buddy Ryan was right next to me, and I was like, "Hey, dude," I was like, "Do you remember Jaeger's video about the med kits?" And he's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Yeah, I get it now. I'm feeling it. This is uncomfortable as fuck, and I'm purposely laying down like this." I was like, I gotta move that damn thing. You know, clear out the small of your back. You shouldn't be anything there. It's like Jaeger knew his shit, man. Whether you liked his attitude or not, I always did.
I
I thought
never
he was a
met
fun
him.
dude. I met him a couple times. I really am just saddened that I didn't get to train with him while he was alive, but um, his info is still the same. I mean, it's still awesome. It's on point.
He
But so now what
died.
I'm thinking is, what's that?
He died early, didn't he? He wasn't very old.
No, he had ALS.
Oof.
Yeah, he died. What was it like? Just before Christmas?
It was just a couple years ago,
I thought it was just in 24, wasn't it?
which was about a year ago.
Just
Yeah.
well, like 4 months ago. But anyway, so my battle belt set up.
Jacker's been dead longer than 4 months.
Has it been a whole year then? A year plus?
No,
I
hold
don't know,
on.
man.
No, I don't want to lie to you.
Let's look it up. I can't
I'm
remember
on.
either, man.
No, you're on it. Like doggone it.
Yeah, James Yeager. He died in 2022. What? Really?
Yeah.
Damn, time flies, dude. Holy shit. Wow. So thanks to James Yeager, though. Yeah, I'll be reorienting my battle belt. And one of the things, Hunter, I kind of laugh about. I've got a room for it to move to, and it's a matter of just taking off my. I have a loose admin pouch I use for my lever action.
Okay.
That's gonna come off. I can take that off, move my med kit up there, and it's like, damn it, I might have to build another damn belt so I can use my lever action. It's like shit.
Do you work with high speed gear at all or no?
Uh, I have some of their products. I don't know those guys.
Oh man, they're good
You
people.
know,
I've got a
I
bunch of
mean,
their stuff. I've been in their plant,
I still remember when you did that.
Swansboro. Yeah, good people, man.
I said they
They,
make good shit, man. Their tacos are awesome.
yeah.
That's like my go-to pistol pouch or rifle
Maybe
pouch,
next
both.
shot show we'll ease over there doing the intro.
That'd be cool. That'd be way cool.
Are you making it? I'm assuming you're gonna be NRA.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'll be there. I'll be there for Friday and Saturday. That I'm heading home. I have the wife and kids with me because it's spring break. Um, so I'm gonna work the show Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday I'm going home.
I'm gonna try to make it.
Are you?
I'm gonna try to.
I mean, it's Atlanta. It's not that far. Well,
No,
you're in Raleigh. I think Charlotte's closer, but
well, it's
still, it's a
I'm
couple
8
hours.
hours,
Yeah.
but which is fine. But in the past 6 weeks, I've put a little over $3,000 in that truck.
Right. No, I know.
And
You've said that. Damn, that fixture repair daily is like
well,
running
now,
a toll on you.
come on now, damn it! It's an '89. So it's 36 years old, and it's all been
Okay, it could be a 2019 and still be putting money into it.
Let me tell you something, fella. I got a 2014 F350 with a 6.7 Power Stroke,
Uh huh.
and I can pull my excavator, which is about 10,000 pounds, on a 2,500-pound trailer with 3 yards of crushing run in the back at 75 miles an hour, and that truck's like no problem.
Okay.
So
I didn't say that. I never said it didn't have any power.
that's how much you pull the hinges off of Hell's
I
Gates.
just said fixture repair daily. That's all.
You might want to look at what Dodge and Chevrolet's doing.
Dude, I have no loyalty to any domestic brand. I've had Chevrolets, rental car wise. I like Hemis, like in the Jeeps. The Ford Expedition was fine. Actually, I hate Chevy Tahoes. I think those are the most underpowered pieces of shit. I think most of Chevy's trucks are underpowered pieces of shit too. Honestly,
That Duramax diesel is not what people crack it up to be. Probably get a little hate mail.
I ain't even talking about diesel on that front. I'm just talking in general. Different friends have had Suburbans and Tahoes over the years, and every time I drive one, I'm like, I feel like I'm flooring it, and it's like this is a V8. I'm like, doesn't this thing like shit and get? Like my Nissan Frontier I had would shit and get. My FJ will shit and get. It's like, okay,
Well,
whatever.
that 89 I got 0 to 60 in about 15 minutes.
That's all. That's a whole other
But
thing. Oh, hey Tucker.
it's But now here again, it'll pull. That's a Mitchell pull, but it ain't no speed damage.
Right. Well, here I had a random thought today as I was messing around with some guns in the safe. We know you're a 1911 fan. Hell, I'm a 1911 fan, but you're by far a larger 1911 fan than I am. But we're not talking about 1911s. We don't give a shit. Those are single action guns. Who cares? Why you flip me off for? I just said who cares.
I'm trying to be part of the conversation.
Double action over striker fire, or
Fuck.
striker fire over double action.
Double action over striker fire without a shadow of a doubt.
And why is that?
Striker fire is fucking stupid.
You fucking retard.
No. Plus, all right. Here we go. Oh, good.
Oh, don't go no deep dive. I just want a quick, easy response out of you.
No, you didn't ask now. All right. So here,
it's getting all serious, everybody. Here we go.
So being a gun writer, I'm privy to a lot of things the general public is not privy to. And so I got a buddy who works at Glock, and he sent me some of the notes from when they were designing the original Glock 17.
Right.
And Gaston comes in and goes, look, I want to make a pistol that is not only super cheap to make, but it's got to have the worst trigger imaginable.
Oh, you're so full of shit.
And then he said, now listen, I want it to, the trigger's going to be so bad that we got to put a safety in it. Ergonomically, I want you to think about holding a 2x4, okay, and trying to take your trigger finger and push an 8-penny nail into said 2x4. This is where we're at with it. That was and I'm quoting.
Yeah, right, I'm sure.
I'm quoting Gaston when he's like, ergonomics and trigger pull on the Glock. That's what he said. And he goes, watch. We're going to make the shittiest plastic gun imaginable. And I'm going to sell 6 trillion of them. You know why?
Yeah.
Marketing. You know, he looked at Cameron and he went, well, if they could make a piece of shit and sell 1 million of them, hell, I can too.
I hate to break it to you.
Glock's not a piece of shit. Glock protection.
I say, hate to break it to you. It's not. It's definitely. It has gone well beyond piece of shit when considering Glock has become as ubiquitous as a 1911. The fact that everybody makes them now, based exactly not just like VP9s. There's Glock genetics, Walthers Glock genetics, Canic, which are Walthers Glock genetics, XD's Glock genetics. But no, you make Gen 3 Glocks. Gen 3 Glock is like a new era 1911, flat out.
Except it's just, I get it that it works. You know, the Glock works in the same way a hammer works.
Sure.
Okay, it works, but it's not. There's nothing about it that's pleasant. Ergonomically, it's fucking shit.
Yeah, they're all right. Some of the newer aftermarket, or some of the newer clones, or what do you want to call them, are better.
Right.
Shadow Systems have more like a 1911 grip.
How can I take a firearm manufacturer serious when they send me a fucking gun and the sights are plastic? I mean,
okay. Well, now you're going brand specific. I just said double action over striker.
I'm sorry.
I mean, like my VP9. These are metal sights on my VP9 right here. I mean,
so anywho, striker fire has got it's a god awful trigger. A lot of take up, a lot of creep, a lot of over travel, you know, and I know that you've got companies out there like Lone Wolf.
Yeah, but I don't care. But no, don't forget the aftermarket shit. Just stock guns, stock triggers.
You're trying to make chicken salad out of chicken shit.
Right.
So, number one, and here's the thing, contrary to popular belief, your trigger pull has a tremendous amount to do with your mechanical accuracy.
Mm-hmm.
If you've got a really nice, crisp, straight pull, you know, breaking at 5 pounds. I ain't talking about I got a 6-ounce trigger. You know,
yeah. No. Fuck all that. Fuck all that.
Gun. But you know, that fucking thing they got with the dew dolly hanging down, and it's six,
Dude,
7 pounds.
golly.
I mean, what's the trigger pull in your Glock in inches? Oh, we measured the trigger pull in feet. Because it's this far. I start pulling the trigger on Monday, and by Wednesday, I broke the shot. So, no, striker fire triggers are awful. I don't like them. They're not good. They're not ergonomic. They're not smooth, and they're really, for the most part, untunable. You can tune them a bit.
Yeah, but your tuning really and truly is just wearing them out faster. I mean,
Right.
it's really what it is.
You take a 1911 and got somebody know what they're doing, a real gunsmith, and he can get in there and he can put a knife edge on that sear. And
Right.
he can clean up them hammer hooks and maybe shorten them hammer hooks just a cat hair. And now you're talking about, you got a pistol out there, you shoot NRA bullseye matches with a half-pound trigger. That's safe and beautiful.
Okay, let's come back to this since you're still taking the 1911s. Damn you! Shut up.
I was
It's
making
my 1911s. I know. I'm just giving you a hard time. So okay, double action for single action because I for one personally, I don't care. It makes a difference to me. Like I trained myself and started with 1911. I always loved 1911s. Second handgun I ever got was a USP in 45, so it's a double single action. And the next gun was a striker fired gun, and I got hooked into the same trigger pull every single time striker fire bit until years later I found the CZ, the P09, double action, single action. And that gun blew me away at how much I was like, oh, I could deal with a double action first pull. Back in the day when I didn't know shit, it was like, oh god, this is so terrible. It's so heavy. Oh god. Basically being a little bitch.
Yeah.
But I can say that enough mediocre striker fire triggers, you come back to a double action, dude. When somebody says fight or the buzzer goes off, you don't think twice about that shit. You draw, you get on sight, on target, you pull that double action shot, break it, and everything after that is so much more crisp, fluid, smooth. That single action, that's pretty damn awesome.
One of my favorite pistols in the world, and I shit you not, is a CZ SP01 Tactical.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's a fighting handgun, and
Yeah.
I like it like 1911's here,
Right.
and then the CZ line of double action, single action,
Right.
what I'm going to call hammer fired.
Yeah.
The CZ line hammer fired guns are right here.
Yeah, I get that.
I mean,
I totally get that. The Omega, I had the Omega trigger, which is probably their lesser trigger in CZ's realm, but it's awesome. I have no problem with that thing.
And you can at will switch it from a decocker to a safety.
Right. Which I just leave the decocker on there. The safety,
As do
the
I.
safety, yeah, the safety. If it felt more 1911 like, well, that's the thing.
It doesn't have much of a ledge on it to get out.
No, and what's funny is like I grabbed one gun recently that was a DASA, and it had a manual safety, and I was like, oh shit, this is actually bit 1911. Like I could deal with using that one, but otherwise just decock and leave it in double action. But now here, I'll say this, and this you'll probably completely disagree with me, and I don't give a shit. You can.
You're wrong.
If I'm teaching somebody relatively new, I think I'm still going to go with a striker fire on them than a double action, single action, because that double action is still going to feel longer and heavy to them. I don't want them. I want them thinking about that weight less and just go with this more simplicity of.
Really?
I think so, because the difference is they get so used to this, and they go to a double action, they don't even notice it, even if it's really heavy. They won't even notice it.
You know what I start people out with?
A double action.
A Ruger Mark IV 2245.
Well, yeah, it's just 22, yeah.
And that's
okay. Well, I'm not saying yeah. Let me back up.
Style trigger. That style. That is what I start people off with. And because here's maybe my thinking is wrong, but with that 2245, they're not having to train their trigger fundamentals.
Sure.
First thing we teach is safety.
No, I agree with that. Let me back up. I guess I don't mean like. I guess I did say new shooter. I'm thinking wrong level new shooter. That's like brand new shooter. Yes, you're absolutely right.
Okay.
Ruger 22 pistol, absolutely. Somebody that's like my buddy Chad, he hasn't shot in a long time, and he wants to buy a new handgun, and he wants to get some training reps in before going to a class. I would put him on a striker fired center fire pistol before a double action, single action.
I think my bias would keep me from doing that because
I can believe that.
anybody that's coming to me like, oh, I really want to buy a Glock. I'm like, oh, don't.
Don't.
Great. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Well, that's my buddy. I told you he's got an XD that he's had for 20 years, and he's got his 365.
Either though, I'll be honest with you.
That's fine. That's fine. I mean, I have mine. I've run the shit out of mine. It's laser accurate. They're fine. But he was like, yeah, I think I want to get something like a newer full size gun. I was like, well, what do you want? He's like something striker fired. I was like, honestly, dude, Walther PDP. Just look at those. Go put your hand on one of those things and get one of those. Best striker fire trigger, flat out. Excellent ergonomics.
You ought to try that Ruger RXM.
Yeah, I do, because I think I put my hand on it a tiny bit at Gayos, and that was it. Yeah.
Now, I reviewed it.
Yeah.
I didn't love it. Now,
well, it's because it's still basically a Glock. I mean,
right. It is, except it's got a whole lot more going for it than Glock does.
Oh, but it's still a Glock.
Right.
I mean, okay, I love my HKs, but a VP9, it is still a striker fired, aka
right.
a Glock. I mean,
but now,
like you said, there's only so much refinement you can do.
Chad's wife, Krista, who she shoots a handful of times a year.
Right.
She came out and was in the video. She picked that damn thing up, and at 25, 30 feet, she's banging steel, like doing
effortlessly.
Well,
right.
And she'll come out here with her. She's got a shield,
mm-hmm.
and she's 50% at best.
Right.
With that shield. When we try to walk through the fundamentals, but she doesn't shoot enough. But she come out here cold and pick that RXM up. Was like ding, 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 ding.
Yep, just not cold now. Not thinking about it, just going. And
I'm watching her face as she's confused of how well she's like, wow. I'm like, do it again. Here's another mag, and she did it again.
Right.
And I wound up. Chad bought that pistol from Ruger when I was done with it. I didn't. There was nothing bad I could say about it except what ergonomically it was a little better than Glock. The trigger was a little better than Glock.
Right.
Had way better sights on it.
But it still just falls in that it's a striker fired pistol.
Yeah, it's just not my speed.
Right.
But Chad bought it from Ruger when I was done, and he gave it to his wife. And she is at least 50% better with that pistol out the box than she was her carry gun for years.
Yeah.
So I was like, I can appreciate the fact that Ruger has taken this Glock platform and improved upon it.
Right.
In my opinion, it's a great improvement.
Well, it's something you kind of got my mind spinning into is like that more people, and probably women in particular, need to go to a range that has a bunch of guns to rent and rent a bunch of shit. I think I've told you this before. Maybe if I haven't, who cares? I'll tell it again. One couple I shoot USPSA with, buddy's wife, Yuki, she was running a Canic, like a full-size Canic pistol, and she runs it, and man, it at times it looked like she's like not even controlling the gun. And after I shot with them 2 matches when I borrowed the Echelon from Patton a few years ago, they asked me what I thought of the Echelon. I was like, dude, this is hands down one of the best striker-fired service pistols out there, period. It's that good. And the next match, then a month later, I see Yuki had an Echelon. I was like, did you get an Echelon? She's like, oh, yeah. She goes, my husband got me an Echelon. I was like, oh, that's cool. Watch her shoot. Dude, that gun, the gun for me is flat. It's extremely flat shooting. Yuki shooting it, extremely flat shooting. That girl went from hitting targets like, top of the shoulder, C-zone to maybe an A, but a lot of times in a D zone, to like double alphas everywhere all the time. Just some difference in that gun versus the Canic. It was insanely flat for her, and that's why people need to go. People need to go test shit. Really, I mean, I'm old enough now. I don't give a shit. I'll just go if a gun looks cool and it feels good in my hand, I'll buy it. I don't give a shit.
But
But anybody else, they need to go rent shit and try shit.
And that brings me to a point.
Yeah.
So buying a handgun or a firearm in general, but a handgun specifically, is a very personal thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so, like, when I'm doing a review, I get people that are shooters to come shoot these guns, and which is great because it looks good on camera. But having somebody like Andrew Barnes of Barnes Precision Machine, having Andrew come in and shoot a test gun,
right?
It does me no service, because if there's something going on with it that his mind's like, I don't like this, he will unconsciously adapt, and it doesn't dawn on it. You know, I mean, he'll get out there and run a plate rack with a high point. Excuse me.
Right.
You know, and not that there's anything wrong with that, but you know, he's a 2011 guy. You know, he's got the just what is that manufactured? You know, the damn $3,000-$4,000 2011s
Staccato.
He's got a couple of those, and you know, but he'll pick up a damn high point, you know, YC9 and ding 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 ding, and I'm like, what'd you think about it? He goes, well, it's fine.
Yeah, it's.
I'm like, no. You know, what'd you think of the trigger? He's like, I don't know. I just shot it. So, but you get a newbie in, somebody that's not very familiar, and they're like, oh, I like this trigger, or the grip is too big, or the front sight was weird for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that's the difference too. Like being at the counter messing with the gun versus being on the range messing with the gun.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the people were. I think somebody asked me about the trigger of the YC9. You know, last weekend. I was like, who gives a shit? I was like, look what I'm doing.
Right.
Look at the holes. It speaks for itself. And that's what it was. Paul at one point came up. He wanted us, like, we were live rounds. He wanted us, it was fire, you know, so break the shot, and then he wants to feel that reset before breaking another shot.
That's so hard to do, especially if you're in a flying hurry.
Well, no. We were like taking our time. It was literally break one shot, hold it back, and feel the reset. And Paul comes up and he goes, high points don't really have much of a reset, do they? And I went, no, dude, it's pretty much let all the way out. I was like, I'm good, don't sweat it. And he was like, yeah, all right. You know, because why do we look at it is my fundamentals are, it's fundamentals or fundamentals or fundamentals. Trigger control is trigger control is trigger control.
Right.
I don't give a shit if it's a 12-pound trigger or if it's a 3-pound trigger. Yeah, a 12-pound trigger, you're going to be a little more tired after shooting fast. Double taps with 12 pounds kind of sucks. But beyond that, you just shoot. Just don't ever think it and shoot, you know.
But a lot of people, especially newer shooters, Dave, aren't able to wrap their head around that.
For sure.
Someone like yourself.
Well, like I said, I've been in the same boat. You know, my USP, that double action pull, I was like, oh, God, this double action pull, just rack it and just shoot it. I'd never decock it and shoot it, you know, because being a new idiot shooter. Now, I don't give a shit. Hand it to me, decock it, I'll blast away. I don't care.
It's
you know.
When you go and shoot somebody that's new, shoot with somebody that's new, and you're watching them, it makes you think of all the stuff that you, as a seasoned shooter, gloss over in your brain.
Right. Like you know, it's so funny. Like, guys in their AR triggers too. That's bad or worse than 1911 triggers and striker fire trigger guys. You know, it's like, oh, if I don't have this fancy dangled light, blah blah blah.
AR Gold, baby, AR Gold or Geisley. Which I love Geisley.
No, I do. I love my Geisley trigger. It's fucking phenomenal. I've got a trigger tech as well. It's phenomenal. I've got the Q's trigger, what they call it, the best damn trigger ever, literally best trigger ever made. It's really nice, but at the same time, I can break hits at 200 yards without thinking about it with a mil-spec trigger. I'm like, I don't care.
I shot expert.
I don't care.
For 4 years.
Right.
With a wore-out ass M16A2. And it had
it's funny. You say wore out, and that was actually because it was smooth as shit because it was so wore out. Probably.
Well, that could be, you know, but it won't know Geisley with a little prep and a wall and
with a carrot break.
Yeah, it was
Still says breaks like a carrot.
You know, you're like, yeah, yeah, boo-hoo. Anyway,
Yeah.
but
People get too hung up on that kind of shit.
it was, yeah, and that's the thing. When the fur starts flying, figuratively speaking, of course, are you going to notice a 4 pound versus a 6, 7, 8 pound trigger?
Fuck no.
I mean,
I feel like that's the same thing like if you're at competition, USPSA. That timer goes off. You ain't noticing that.
but you know what? You know why people say they do? Marketing.
Oh, for sure.
I watched you might roll your eyes at this, but I watched this guy today. He had a Facebook reel, and he started in on a 6'5" Creedmoor. And I'm like, all right, because I don't give a shit anything made past about 1959. And I mean, all right, give me 85. Give me 85. And he's like, you know why everybody loves the 6'5" Creedmoor? Marketing.
Yeah.
He's like, there is a dozen rounds that's been out decades that can do everything the 6'5" Creedmoor can do and better, but marketing. You come up with something and you convince people they need it.
Yeah.
It was Bill Wilson, bless his heart, when he come up with the shock buff. You know what I'm talking about? The shock buff. It's a little piece of polyurethane, or not polyurethane, and it's a little piece of like polymer.
Yeah, little wedge.
You pull your fucking recoil spring off your guide rod
I'm
your 1911.
Oh, yes. Okay, sorry. Now I do know what you're talking about.
And you slide it down there and you put your recoil spring back on. And Bill Wilson come up with those, and he was selling them. You bought them in a little pack of 12 for $6 or $8. And I looked at that shit, and it was going to save your gun. Save it battering the receiver or the frame.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself,
marketing.
And so I went and talked to my gunsmith, Tom Bellevue, who was an old crotchety bastard. And he had a Colt that he'd been shooting for I don't know how long. And he, and I said, and I was up there one day and I said, Tom, what do you think about those fucking shock buffs? It's a joke, right? And he pulls his Colt out and he throws it on the counter. And there ain't a bit of bluing. There ain't a bit of finish on it. It's just kind of a
well used.
Well used. And he goes, I got 200,000 rounds through that pistol. It's the original slide, original receiver. He's like, I've shot out 3 or 4 barrels. I've gone through it a couple times. He goes, but if it's going to make 250,000 rounds,
right?
I don't think you need a little fucking piece of plastic.
No.
And so it was cute, and he made a bunch of money. But here's the thing: that it become a problem because over time and use. Now he's like, you got to change them every magazine. No, I'm kidding. I don't remember, but
no, I know. But it was a couple thousand rounds or whatever.
But if you forgot to change them, they would come apart.
Yeah, put fouling into your gun now,
and then they tie your gun up.
Yeah.
And I remember I bought a Colt Gold Cup National Match, Series 70. Oh, man, this thing was decked the fuck out. All the control, it was somebody had it refinished, and it was kind of a black tee. But
Did you think about trying one?
Say that again.
Did you think about trying one in your 1911? It was Gold Cup?
No, it had one in it.
Oh.
And all the controls were polished stainless from Pacmeyer. It was gorgeous. But when I took it apart, it had and I knew it was an old one because it was clear. And I put it back in the gun. I'm like, you know what? Let's just see what's what with what. And I shot the piss out of that 45. And over the years, that fucking thing began to come apart, and it tied the gun up.
Yeah.
So
let's see. You put shit in your gun that can rot. You're asking for malfunctions.
Exactly. If you gotta have it, guys, if you're out there like, oh, gotta put that shock buff, then make it your range gun.
Right.
Don't put that as your defense. Because if it can break, it will, and more than likely it's gonna be a very inopportune time.
Yep.
Inopportune.
So here's a total complete subject change for you. Movies. Um, I've told my oldest boy, I was like, that I want to get him to actually sit down and watch the Lord of the Rings trilogy here, like sooner or later, because he's a massive Star Wars nut. So it's like you need to watch Lord of the Rings trilogy because it's every bit as good, if not actually, it's probably better.
Not better,
Um,
but it maybe is good. I'll give you that. You
Lord of the
talk,
Rings trilogy,
you talking about Peter Jackson?
yeah, not
I
the
would
Hobbit, the Lord of the Rings trilogy. That's like the best trilogy there ever was, in my opinion.
over Star Wars.
Yeah,
No,
Star
but
Wars is great, but Lord of the Rings is the most from beginning to end. Yeah,
but go ahead. It's
it's
fine.
okay. It's fine. It's
We,
fine.
you're
Yeah,
in.
we
Go ahead.
can disagree. We can disagree later. Hi, Tucker. Um, but I thought, you know what? Before he watches Lord of the Rings, he needs to watch some other ones that are older. That I think if he watched Lord of the Rings first, you watch anything older, he's gonna be like, "This is kind of lame."
You talking about some of the first iterations before Peter Jackson got a hold of
Well,
it?
no. I mean movies in general, and this is what I'm getting to. I bought the Blu-ray of Ridley Scott's 1985 Tom Cruise, Tim Curry Legend. Do you remember that one?
Oh my God!
Yeah, Tim Curry, the Lord of Darkness, the big, huge horns that wrapped
Yeah,
around.
yeah. I
Dude, it's
remember.
fucking epic looking. Yeah, I bought the Blu-ray of that has the theatrical cut, which the score is done by um, Tangerine Dream, and the director's cut has a full orchestral score by Jerry Goldsmith. And I think there's more to the director's cut, but I don't know. I've never seen. I've only seen the theatrical cut. But I was like, we're gonna watch this movie tomorrow night, and then I think the next thing I'm gonna have them watch is one I think I talked about it was the 13th Warrior with Antonio Banderas.
Hmm.
Do you ever recall that one?
I watched it a couple times. You know what? It wasn't my favorite.
Okay. I that one always like stuck with me. I thought that was a really cool, badass. But action wise, the thing like both those movies, their effects and visuals are fine, but I feel like their action, the sword fighting, and everything just doesn't compare once Lord of the Rings came out. They just took everything to the next level.
Now, haven't
And I
watched Excalibur.
and I can't say about Excalibur because I haven't watched Excalibur in so long. I don't remember.
The medieval sword fighting in Excalibur, and I'm is probably comparable.
You're gonna be. As I know you'll be a little partial because you really love that movie
I
too.
do, but and you know, let's don't even take into account inflation, so to speak, the time gap.
Right.
Um, if pressed, if somebody's like, "Hey, what is better? Pick what's the best of the three of the Lord of the Rings? Return of the King."
Actually, I'm partial to the Fellowship of the Ring.
Okay, that is not as good a movie as Excalibur to me.
Okay.
I don't think any of those three movies can equate to the quality of what Excalibur is, even though it's so many years difference. And part of it is because, of course, now here you go. I like Star Trek better than the Next Generation
Sure.
because they didn't rely. And I'm not saying this is really holds true to the Lord of the Rings trilogy, but maybe a little bit. They didn't have the ability to generate amazing special effects.
Right.
So what they really had to do is act.
Yeah.
And they had to make the movie through dialogue and act and what special effects they could muster up. Versus today, or even when Lord of the Rings come out, they're like, oh, we can CGI. You need a dragon? Fine.
I get what I get that. Excuse me. And to me, that's kind of like where there's the Lord of the Rings trilogy and the Hobbit. And the Hobbit trilogy is the whole we can just CGI it because I feel like the Hobbit trilogy looks like shit.
I don't
Um,
know that I saw.
yeah, you're not missing it. I mean, come on, dude. It was one book. They stretched it into three films. I mean, at least Lord of the Rings, it was three books, and therefore it was three movies. I mean,
It was amazing. But man, I'm gonna tell you, and I love you, Dave. I swear I love you like we're kin. But to try to beat Return or even Empire,
well, now
Return
you're going.
that
Well,
out.
now you're going individual films. I'm saying as a trilogy as a whole.
Yeah, but I mean, so
Lord of the Rings beats it. You know why? Because it is truly a cohesive trilogy all the way through. Star Wars is not. A New Hope is like here, and then Empire obviously is a better movie, but then it's Empire and Return of the Jedi and their cohesiveness. Star Wars, the original Star Wars, it's a little rough, like in that sense, like because it was such a pioneering thing. I will
Right,
always love it. I will always appreciate it. But therefore, I feel like the trilogy as a whole, Lord of the Rings beats it out as a better trilogy.
man.
I didn't say Star Wars is a bad trilogy because
No,
it's
no,
not.
no. But
But Lord of the Rings is a better trilogy.
when Luke walks into Jabba the Hutt's lair,
Well, it's Return of the Jedi. Yeah,
and he's there to get Han,
yeah, it's epic.
and he's the Jedi. He's the
It's
man.
great. It's great.
It's and I'm like, my heart's. I mean, I watch it right now, and I can play
It's
the scene
great.
in my brain, and I'm like,
But you're just drawing individual scenes.
I just
But you're just drawing individual scenes. Like, okay, there's
when I think
next time I see this meme, I need to send it to you. And it's a trilogy rating meme, and I agree with it. It does have Lord of the Rings as like the best trilogy. I think it has Star Wars as like the second best trilogy. What was the third best trilogy it had listed? I don't remember now. I'm just gonna look for it. Because like I love with more passion than anything is the Alien franchise,
yeah,
and it's a roller coaster up and down of awesome, awesome, and okay, and they're mixed bag from there. But you know what? It's as a trilogy, 1, 2, and 3. It's definitely down lower by a good bit because Alien 3 was not what we expected.
but
It's
1 and 2,
completely different than we
great.
wanted, but I still love 3. I still think 3 is a great, dark, grimy, depressing film. It's just not what we all wanted, back in the day. You know,
You want to talk about ruining a trilogy?
go for it.
Clerks 3.
Oh, we talked about that. We talked about that because I didn't realize that there was, you know,
The fuck were you thinking, Kevin Smith?
yeah.
Clerks was great. Clerks 2, amazing.
Here, I'm gonna throw a hot one out there for you.
Oh,
I'm gonna throw a hot one out there for you. Give me your opinion. RoboCop.
you
What do
probably.
you?
I struggle to enjoy RoboCop.
What are you? Even okay, fine. Forget the sequels then. 87's RoboCop. Really?
Yeah, I
Oh, that
struggle.
is a masterpiece, dude.
Is it though?
Yes. Oh my god.
Uh, for me, it's it's good. It's good. Is it great? Kirkwood Smith was great in it.
Oh, he was fucking great. Ronnie Cox. Everybody was great. Ronnie Cox
But
was great. Weller was great.
it was a good movie. But is it
Wow.
one that I remember with great fondness? No.
Oh my god. Okay. Well,
You know,
it's fun to discover new things together.
right? It's okay. It's a good movie. It's not fucking Casablanca, okay?
I still need to watch that one. I've not seen it all the way through ever, and we've talked about that.
Casablanca is the best film ever made.
I need to see if it's streaming
Except
somewhere and actually watch it.
Bravo with John Wayne.
Oh, here's a random one I'll throw out there to you. I kept seeing this on Prime. 1965, Planet of the Vampires. I mean, terrible title. Like it's like this can't be good. Prime keeps throwing it at me in my suggestions. I'm like, I'll look it up. The one I wouldn't even turn it on. I was like, well, I'll look it up real quick on my phone and read about it. It was like, okay, this sounds like it could be interesting. It sounds a lot like Alien, like Ridley Scott's Alien. I was like, huh. I give it a watch. So when I was a kid, I couldn't stand older movies like much older than I don't know, probably mid 70s, and mainly because this is I don't know, man, this is weird. Mainly because the music in them always took me out of the film because they were so like big, bombastic. Like there's the villain, bum 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 bum. Like I'm just like that's shitty.
Right.
But probably because I was spoiled. Like I watched Aliens before watching Alien. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I watched Aliens before Alien. So like my young childhood watching epic horror sci-fi movies was Aliens, Predator, Terminator, RoboCop. Star Wars was always there. And then going back, like I remember laughing at Planet of the Apes because my brothers laughed at Planet of the Apes. And my dad tore into my shit. He's like, "Have you ever even watched Planet of the Apes?" I'm like, "No." He goes, "Watch it and shut your mouth." And I caught like they ran the first three films on USA one weekend. And the moment the first one started, I see like just the effects. I was like, "This is corny as shit." Then Heston's sitting there talking, and I was like, "All right, this is looking better."
Yeah.
And then when he goes into hypersleep and Jerry Goldsmith's score kicked in, now which mind you, even man, probably before 9 or 10, I was more into movie composers than I was anything else, and I still am. So Goldsmith's score kicks in. I'm like, oh, dude, Goldsmith did Alien. I'm like, he did this score. This should be good. And that score is fucking epic. That whole movie. So I was like, all right, I'll dip. This is from what that was what 68, I think. Planet of the Apes. I was like, I'll look up some older stuff. I catch Logan's Run, another Jerry Goldsmith score,
Oh yeah.
fucking solid all the way through. And then the real mind blower though, I couldn't get into Star Trek, the original series, when I was younger. My dad would watch it, and I don't know, I just something about it. Maybe it looked too cheesy to me. I couldn't get into it. Now I can watch it and appreciate it.
Yeah.
But he made me sit down and watch Forbidden Planet with Leslie Nielsen, which obviously was before Star Trek, and it had an all electronic sound mix. I wouldn't even call it a score, but it is. It's fucking unreal. So ahead of its time. That was 56. So I see people talking about this Planet of the Vampires and that it has some really, close ties to Alien. Why not, let's give it a shot. I fired this movie up right away. The score, it is like this electronic foreboding, just sound constantly. I'm like, this is cool for a movie from '65. I'm like, all right. Sets are a little big. It could be a little bit tighter for believability of the tech and shit. But come to find out, they land on this planet and they find their another ship of theirs. Everybody's dead, and it's called Planet of the Vampires, but it really is more like a zombie movie to a degree. But it's because another life form used their bodies and basically wanted to infect the rest of the crew as a symbiosis, living, because they're like, we want to get this planet, we need to survive. But all while they're exploring, they find an alien craft with these giant skeletons. I'm like, dude, the jockey from Alien? Like, holy shit, this is pretty wild. I start reading some more. Apparently, Dan O'Bannon did actually steal the giant skeletons from Planet of the Vampires and used it in his story for Alien.
No way.
Yeah, so it's like, good God. And apparently, Ridley Scott was even saying that Planet of the Vampires had little inspiration in him and the way he shot Alien. It was like, okay, this movie
No
wasn't
way.
this movie was no Planet of the Apes. It was no Forbidden Planet, but it was absolutely worth watching for being an
So
older, and
it's
it
a
was Italian too. What's
it's an
that?
older movie.
Yeah,
Older
it's
movie.
yeah
Older.
from 65,
Okay, I'll check it out
1965.
this weekend.
Yeah, it was worth watching. It's not great. It's not bad, but worth watching, man.
Okay, I like
Yeah,
weird shit like that, man. So,
yeah.
well, one thing I like to touch on that I was thinking about today is I've got a question for you, and I'm asking you the question so I can answer it as well.
Okay.
You're in the metal,
Yeah. I sent you my taste of metal.
right? Right. So, what? Give me one of the most underrated, or one or two of the most underrated metal bands you feel.
Um, I don't know if they really are that underrated, but I know I found them pretty late, and I feel like they're not as widely known. Would be In This Moment is the one I told you about. Um,
Right.
that chick's like 40 some odd years old, and they've been a band for I think over a decade, if not 2 decades. It was just kind of like, where the hell are they at? They should be no more because that they fucking rock.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, so In This Moment, I'd say that'd be like my immediate one that comes to mind.
Okay. I looked them up. They got some pretty good stuff going on. I cannot argue that. One band that I was really into in high school, man, and I'm surprised a number of people around my age have never heard of them, is Rigor Mortis.
Now I've only heard of it because I know you mentioned it before, but I've not familiar with them at all,
They are,
other than you talking about it.
it's very complex if you listen to the lyrics. Um, and Manowar. Do you remember Manowar?
Vaguely,
They were like,
vaguely.
they were dressed in furs and wielded axes, and yeah.
That I don't recall. That I don't recollect. No.
Oh well, it was something. I was Candy and I were walking her foster dog, and we got talking about music. And of course, now anytime I got a Pandora channel that I like, and she's like,
Right.
"Turn that down." Like I'm like, "Oh, you want to hear music?" I pick my phone and she's like, "Turn it down." And I'm like, "I ain't even got my shit fired up." But we got to talk. She likes, um, she likes like old, like jazz.
Okay.
Old jazz, like 40s, 50s jazz.
Yeah. It's got its own vibe, man. It really
She
does.
loves it, and she's turned me on to some of it that is great. Some of it not my speed,
Sure.
but
I
some of
think
the stuff she's turned me on.
I feel like that's kind of jazz as a whole too, though, for me.
Yeah, it's hit or miss for me, and of course I also think it's a mood for
Yeah.
me. But anyhow, that was something I wanted to squeeze in before we wrapped up. I don't know what our time frame is, but
Yeah, we should probably wrap it up. We're at about an hour and a half here.
well, man, I
Jazz.
thoroughly enjoyed it as always.
Making more notes here, trying to fill out for the for descriptions for the videos, so it doesn't just say we talked about stuff.
Get your ass to work.
No. Which I will say is, we're still recording. We talk about it. So I've been using one service thing to like push out just the actual podcast of this,
Okay.
and which that's fine, dandy and all. And so it says it pushes it out to like Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Well, I can't fucking find it. And I think I found the Apple Podcast once because I have to create a creator like account now. The Apple Podcast is like, oh my fucking god! Like yesterday, or was it early in the week, I created an RSS account, so I could create one because apparently that's a way of knowing podcasts are there.
Right.
But then people talk about how you can post as many episodes as you want, but I try hitting a second episode and it's like, nope, paywall to like add more. I'm like, I'm not doing another paid service when I use one already to submit audio shit. But it's just like the backside of creating all these other bloody accounts to push our shit out there, so it becomes a legitimate podcast, is a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Absolute pain in the ass.
Run a gun
But
website.
but we're getting there. Oh, dude, my website's terrible.
No, I'm not talking about all the money. Oh,
Oh yeah, yeah. That's the thing. It's got to be all like affordable, but yeah. So we're slowly getting ourselves there
well,
to
I'm
be a
thoroughly enjoying the
little
time we
legitimate.
spend together.
Yeah, I mean, like here's the thing. I guess if the podcast by itself doesn't ever really take off, I just strip it back to doing just the absolute freebie version of what we do and post it on YouTube and Rumble, and you know,
It's still fun, and
fucking so be it.
when I post it, we usually get a couple hundred views.
That's way more than I'm getting, so that's awesome.
So
Um,
it's something.
yeah, but yeah, I guess we should just wrap it up from there.
Well, I
This is
enjoy it. Thank
our
you.
ninth episode, man. So
Wow.
we'll be back to do this again for sure because we haven't gotten bored yet, right?
I look forward to it. I really do.
Well, as usual, I guess we'll say this: where can people find you, man?
Rangehot.com.
Wow, that was simple enough.
Oh, you want like my address?
No, because it is that simple. Same thing. I'm at livefire-media.com. All the social links from X, Instagram, and Facebook, and Hunter, same thing. Rangeshot.com. It's all there. So till
Well,
next time, people.
if I don't see you for Christmas, don't forget to hang your balls on the tree.
On that note.